have towns that have been burned up because a white woman said she got raped.
Yep.
You got Lanier, the town of Lanier, which is there's 7 black towns that are drowned underwater.
And it's scary because people be dying at Lake Lanier all the time.
They die from spirits dragging them in.
Yeah.
So they have flooded black neighborhoods with rivers. They have Seneca Village. It used to, now it's Central Park in New York.
The 10 freeway. The 10 freeway right here used to be West Adams, filled with the most important black folk in America.
they build freeways through black neighborhoods. They put black people on toxic dumps. You got the Dulles Airport. That was a black town. DC, that was a black town. So black people have built their own. They had their banks, they had their hospitals, and white people came and burned them motherfuckers. So black people have been working hard all the time. They just come and they f it up.
But again, the narrative wins. The narrative that black people, even when you give all those data points, the narrative of the lazy black American still exists. But remember, it's not just a narrative. We have to talk about the fact that all of these images are being sent out deliberately to maintain that narrative.
That's right.
When I work overseas and I turn to whatever American station is on the TV there and I see what movies are they showing over here? What images of black America are being exported to Eastern Europe? And I've been on every continent in the world except Antarctica, and every time I'm there, I do an assessment of what images are being exported, and they're consistently images of black criminality, black clowns, black laziness. And so it makes sense that if your first experience with black Americans are criminals and clowns, of course you're going to frown on them.
And that's going to spread throughout. And this is why even Eddie Murphy talked about this with Boomerang.
Yes.
You know, it was very, very difficult for people to go, wait, this is a whole world where you don't have any white people in this movie.
Not even the office manager?
And where's the white guy?
Right. And so, but not even that, like just, you know, you're looking at a bunch of successful black people and they interact, and it was like, that was weird.
That's why I went to an HBCU. It was 4 years without racism.
Damn.
The only 4 years in my life I was able to live without racism was at Hampton University in Virginia in the 90s.
Damn.
The only 4 years in my life that I got to live without racism.
My sister had a similar, experience in saying too, because she went to Bennett College, in Greensboro, North Carolina. And so, and you talk about the impact and what that means and how that, like, it's the first time you start to see things and your eyes become open. You know what I mean?
It means something. It means something to see that type of thriving. And, there were people whose parents were judges and mayors of small towns and lawyers and medical directors. And here I am coming from Buffalo, New York, which is also a very black segregated town. Buffalo's like 38% black. Rick James. It was one of the last stops on the Underground Railroad. And so when you come from this under-resourced community and you land at this elite black college and you are now surrounded by blackness that's not your blackness,
right?
It forces you to think about it. But what happened was I got to think about my blackness without the valence of white supremacy being present there.
Right. Yeah.
This is something that I think and I'd love to hear your thought on it, where Godfrey and where we sit, because it is this unique, I don't even know how to answer their own question. And I think it's something that we experience is where people say, you probably got this, where you're not American, you're African.
Yeah.
You're not African, you're American. Where were you born? Where were you born? If I tell somebody I'm from Christian, well, man, shut up, man, you African.
Right. Where you really from?
Then I go, I'm African. Man, shut up. Where were you born?
You're American.
In LA. Man, you from Crenshaw, shut up. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What, like, and then to hear people go, well, you're not situated. I'm like, wait, you're not situated to speak on the FBA situation. I'm going, wait, how is I'm going, wait, like, I don't get it. Like, I've only known America.
You're not foundational.
You're not foundational because your ancestors, like, you've not experienced. I was like, wait, we the same age. Actually, I'm older than you. Like, what do you mean? I seen stuff in the 70s and 80s or in the 80s
before you came around.
Before you come around, but
late to the party. Well,
27-year-old.
I've had that. I go, man.
So
or some Nigerian, young Nigerian. You're not Nigerian. I was Nigerian before you. I ate fufu before you.
Literally.
I know a goosey before you. Stupid. What's wrong with you? Don't come to me. I go, no, dummy. I'm before you. I'm 30 years Nigerian before you. First. I got the N-word before you. I got all that before you, boy. Talk about
hard R and
hard R, you know?
and I use Barack Obama because I think that's one that many people they hold very, very sacred in America. I was just like, Barack Obama and I are no different. No different.
He's Kenyan.
Like his first generation. I'm first generation.
But Barack gets skin privilege. You don't get skin privilege.
Whoa.
We were just talking about colorism. So there's skin privilege, there's hair privilege. Barack Obama walks into a room, and this is no shade.
No, I know. This is interesting. Yeah,
he's
safe.
Works. Yeah, he's
a safe look.
You both are
dark skin,
first generation African immigrants, just like President Obama.
Yeah.
You don't get, if you both walked into a room in basketball shorts, you would not get the same reception. And so it's not just simply about you.
But amongst our own people?
Absolutely. I just told you 77% of women in Nigeria use skin bleaching cream. This is real into our DNA, into our bones. And so, yes, President Barack Obama he is in fact a first generation African immigrant. His dad was from the continent of Africa.
Yeah. Just like my dad.
But because he has skin privilege, he gets a pass. I was in Florida. We were in Florida, me and my buddies, and I overheard somebody look at this girl who he thought was unattractive, and she just happened to be light skinned. We heard this dude say, "Damn, that's a waste of light skin." Think about that for a minute.
Because all light skin is always
because light skin has been presented to us as the model of beauty. When you look at all the magazines and even Asian Americans, when you look at Asian American magazines, all the women are very, very fair skinned.
Yeah.
When you look across the Asian diaspora, Asian Americans who are usually more melanated than other Asian Americans, you see differences in the money that they make. So Japanese, Chinese, and Korean Americans, they're having a very different experience than Cambodian Americans and Vietnamese Americans. Because it's largely due to the melanation. So we're talking about colorism here. Yes, you and Barack Obama may have the exact same lineage, but because you don't carry skin privilege, you're not going to get the same reception as him. You could speak the exact same intonation as him. It don't matter.
Well, I think now.
I didn't know.
Well, hold on now. I think now that I speak like Barack Obama, maybe you and all the other haters will accept me finally as a black man that I am. Thank you, everybody.
That was actually
Thank you. See,
that wasn't bad. That's what I'm talking about. That wasn't bad.
Here we go.
That wasn't bad. That was You still dark though.
You're still black. You'll never get it. Sorry about that. So bad. That was so terrible. You were so confident. I saw you. You're a piece of Obama, you've ruined the country. I'm here to save it. I'm here to save it.
There were even black Americans saying Barack Obama wasn't black enough to be black. I mean, that was a conversation.
Do we blame Jesse Jackson? We also blame Jesse Jackson for coining African American. He was part of that.
I think African
Shout out to
Americans
Jesse.
Rest in peace. Jesse Jackson. I still think when I did academic writing, I would only write African American because I thought black was not formal enough in writing. And so if you read my writings from 15 years ago, it would usually say African American until I had people tell me, you're leaving out a whole group of people when you say African American, because growing up in Buffalo, it was just the term you used to incorporate everybody, no matter who they were.
Right.
Until somebody else told me, well, I don't feel seen in the title African American. And I was like, you're right, because you are a Jamaican American, you're a Haitian American, and it doesn't capture the diaspora even on this land. So I only use black academically now, unless I'm speaking specifically about the African American experience.
So here's a twist because
we all experience the same.
Right. Because there's a couple of things here. One, my father-in-law, black American, or they would say FBA, whatever the term is, right? And
with your light-skinned wife.
Dang.
Right.
You said it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Light-skinned wife.
He said it.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. My father-in-law's black. All right. So,
they wanted to know.
Yeah, right. They wanted to know. But, for him, he actually doesn't like that because he's a lot older, and he's like, that's not what we were called when he says, in fact, when we were called black, it was considered negative.
That's right.
And so he
They were colored, right? They were colored.
Yeah, he cringes at that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the term that he was called that was considered accepted.
Negro?
Negro.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
Negro.
Negro. Yeah, Negro.
And I told him, when he said that to me, and I was going, I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can describe you as. So there is this thing, but it's like, that's an entire generation way before me.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and so here he is in his 80s. And so I guess the question is like, what is that? Because it changes, right? So it went from from Negro to then black to then African American, colored, and then colored, and then now we've got this new thing since 2019, FBA, that is starting to get this steam. And I'm going, wait, this is just all this is starting to get fractured.
It's all nomenclature. I think about some of the South African artists right now coming up, and people can't think of the young lady's name, but she identifies as colored.
Tyler.
Because when you're in Cape Town and you're in Johannesburg, that is a remnant of apartheid that still exists today. Yes. And even though when I hear color, like we just talking about NAACP, I like change it because I still get triggered. You know, I have a reaction when I hear the word colored. And so the nomenclature is simply the nomenclature. Yeah. And more often than not, the people outside of the group being named are those who are naming the group. And so we can't consistently rely upon, you know, who are we called? What are we called? When I was growing up, my mom had a framed picture over the fireplace that said, "Black is beautiful." Yeah. And, you know, when you think about the fact that my mom and dad's generation, somebody had to literally tell them, "You are beautiful." There had to be a whole movement to tell black folk that they were beautiful. That black means,
like, say it loud.
Say it loud. Like, you got to say it loud. Like, that wasn't just a song. Right. That was an effort to reverse all the messages that these people got. Like, they weren't just making up songs, man. They were literally saying,
no doubt,
it is being inbred into you that you are nothing.
That's another 154 conversation in the books. We are bridging culture back to its roots.
From Africa to the world, we're telling stories our way.
So make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share your voice in the comments. This is 154.